Hey everyone, this is Alec from Reddit's Text Encounter Community. Thanks for joining me today. We'll start here with an unboxing of GMT's Space Empires 4X. This is one of GMT's less traditional wargame offerings. There's a lot of wargame isms here in the box, and it follows a lot of GMT's type rules, but they really wanted to kind of have a 4X type feel here. And of course, there are some folks that simply aren't interested in the historical conflict simulation theme, and so sci-fi gets things over towards them. My reason for picking this game up is somewhat hopefully my spouse is not at all interested in Napoleon at Waterloo. But if I can get a sci-fi themed game, I have a shot at maybe getting her to the table. So that was why I picked this one up. So let's go ahead and see what we have in the box. So start by opening the box. All right. As usual, we have our collection of baggies from GMT. I'll park that here under the chat log. A couple of dice, D10s, presumably 2 for each player. Rulebook and scenario book, as is somewhat standard for the GMT games. Rulebook, printed version 1.2, weighs in at 16 pages, including sequence of play, play aid on the back, and some optional rules. So as far as rules weight here, and then we're talking a relatively light load here for GMT games. 13, 14 sections, 13 pages of rules, 12 or 13 pages of rules. Many of those are actually advanced game rules. Looking here, we see that the basic game, and optional. So basic game rules get you through page 10. So it looks like you should be able to play this it's pretty straightforward scenario. Scenario book also weighs in at version 1.2. Looks like some standard info on setting up play area, variants, multiplayer scenarios, some charts here, which presumably, oftentimes publishers will explicitly put right to reproduce markings on this content since it is their copyright, but one would assume that you could copy those. Let's see here. 2-player scenarios, 3-player scenarios, 4 players, and then some epic scenarios. Oh, and of course, designer notes. All right, so that's the printed material. Can move that off the side here. It looks like we're going to have, let's see, a half counter sheet here of spares that are listed, some alien ships and some marker counters. And then, let's see, what do we have here? 4 full sheets here of double-sided counters. Let's see, we've got green and blue. All counters appear to be identical with the exception of color and counter art. Red and yellow, so these must be the units for the various players. We have on counter sheet 3 here, it appears to be some environmental conditions and counters. These, I imagine, are back printed without a lot of info, so this has got to be part of the 4X portion of it. Maybe flip those over, see what we have. And then some other on counter sheet 4 here, number markers, status markers, some spares. All right, so actually, for as light as the rules are, it's seemingly a pretty heavy counter load. So be some time clipping there and getting them out of the sheet. We'll have jumped the shark when I end up doing streams of just cutting out chits with X-Acto knives and clipping them. I wonder if anyone would watch that. All right, let's see. We have a pad here of ship technology sheets, back printed with these Empire's production sheets. This appears to be the same info available here on the last page of the... oh, no, I take it back. It's not quite the same info as what's on the back page of the scenario book. Close. So, okay, not quite the same thing there. Okay, and so we got that pad, a couple player references. These here, there seem to be 4 of these. Info here on ship abilities, defense strength, ship notes. Player reference card here for technology, so this appears to be the tech tree. Okay, so that appears to be the printed materials. One thing that I found is that there's also a advert in here, which is actually a really thick piece of cardstock for a company affiliated with that is promoting their PC game through GMT, and a code there. So I don't run afoul of YouTube or Twitch's promotion rules. I'll put that over there and not dwell on it. And then finally the map. So in the version that I was able to get off of the sale here, this is actually the mounted map for Space Empires. So we'll go ahead and unfold this and see what we have. All right. And here we go with the mounted map. Appears to be a very small turn track sequence to play, and then a star field. Blue home area, red home area, green and yellow. And then hexes connecting them. So, yeah. If you read about this game, I just unboxed this. I've not yet played it. If you are looking at it online, it comes in at a relatively low weight. Let's see what the self-described weights are here. Complexity is a 4 self-described, which is on the low end of medium on GMT scale. And solitaire suitability is high. That's pegged out. That's because they include some solitaire variants in the game. You'll note that, of course, all of these are as described by the designer and the developer. So it's however they want to describe it. But yeah, so here we go. And so my hope is that I can examine and review the system, find a shorter playing scenario. Let's see what... For the 2-player scenarios, there are some small 2-player map scenarios and some normal 2-player maps that play on a subset of the entire board. And let's see here. Good for introducing new players to the system, and good if you don't have a lot of time. So hopefully this might come in at the lower end of the time scale. Again, how they describe it here on the box. Maybe they don't. So... okay, so that's what we have. They do note here in big bold red text, a game that can be played in one sitting. So hopefully we can work this into a stream here soon, and can play it live on the table with some friends or family members once I get a good read of the rules in, and a not inconsiderable amount of clipping to happen. Let's take a look here again, just get a little bit of a better view of some of these counters to include these unit counters. All right, so that is what's in the box of GMT Games Space Empires 4X. For those of you watching on YouTube, thank you for joining me. Please do like and share. Follow us on Twitch at AlecMG or YouTube AlecMG. Also on Reddit at reddit.com/r/hexencounter. Thank you all.